if you convince somebody to use Beaver Builder, you have ruined their life, in my estimation, right? And so if I have the opportunity to step in and save somebody from that outcome, I'm absolutely going to do that. And I'm going to have fun while I do it, okay?
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, welcome. It's hard to believe it's already been a year since my last video. Time really does fly. In this video, I'll start by addressing some thoughtful comments from the user Blue the Red Panda on my previous video. I wasn't able to address them all in the comments, so I'll just do that here. If this part isn't of interest to you, feel free to skip ahead. After that, I'll review some fixed issues I raised in the last video, then I'll wrap up by giving some more homework. So let's get started. So the first one says, to sum up the video, you spent the bulk of your time analyzing a page that clearly isn't finished and was indexed by error. So a page intended to be a resource for web best practices should not contain false information or lorem ipsum text. Claiming a page is under construction doesn't excuse indexing placeholder text. Even beginner SEOs know better. It's an avoidable mistake, like driving with the door open and then claiming you simply forgot to close it. An absurd justification, if you ask me. I don't believe in the index by error, and I wonder what the excuse would have been if the page wasn't under construction or it was on a client's website. So the next one says, you found a few accessibility items that could be improved throughout the website. Now the truth is the errors were numerous and varied, affecting multiple pages. A particularly concerning issue was the lack of keyboard accessibility on the consulting page. This, along with other basic mistakes, was surprising given Kevin's confidence in his expertise. It highlights how limited understanding can sometimes lead to overconfidence, a phenomenon described by the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, I delayed making another video to give Kevin enough time to address these concerns out of respect for the seriousness of the errors and to avoid unnecessary public criticism. This delay proved effective, as many of the problems within Kevin's expertise have since been resolved, although the process took longer than I anticipated. So let's look at the consulting page I was talking about. This is it here. So I have my focus here. If I was to tab, the expected behavior would be to come to this book a link. So let me go back to the inner circle. I tab, I go forward, I tab, it comes down to YouTube in the footer. If I go back, it goes back up. Let's take a look at the code. A div as a button with no button functionality or semantics using ARIA. Now, some people might blame this on the LatePoint plugin, but isn't a professional supposed to know the shortcomings of his tool and how to overcome them? This is an example of where expertise supersedes tools. Nobody cares about tools. And this is what the consulting page looks like now. We can now get to the button. So let's look at the next one. It says small bugs and mistakes occur during the process. They are fixed afterwards, and this doesn't make a website unviable or low quality. Now, while bugs are inevitable in web development, SOPs and checklists are designed to minimize them. Forms, links, and buttons should be regularly tested, especially before release. When multiple errors persist for over a year, it usually indicates a knowledge gap, negatively impacting both his ability to solve these problems and the website's overall quality and user experience. It's one thing to make mistakes and another to not even perceive mistakes made. So let's move to the next one. This was very interesting. It says, I'll give you this. You did your homework and listed sources. Thank you. However, I'd note that the 4 C's, while often cited as a copywriting framework, function differently from AIDA or PASS. They are more accurately described as a set of rules for evaluating copy rather than a framework for structuring it. Now, this stems from my criticism of Kevin listing PASS as a best practice. Now, PASS is a framework, not a best practice, and I still stand by my words. Me including the 4 C's in a list alongside AIDA reflects their widely accepted classification as a framework, a point you yourself acknowledge by stating they are often cited as such. This is easily confirmed by a simple Google search for the term copywriting framework. So this makes the suggestion that they are more accurately described as a set of rules irrelevant. The 4 C's, by guiding copy creation, function as a framework. While it can also be interpreted as a set of rules or a formula, this does not diminish their role as a framework. As the following examples demonstrate, both forces and ADA can function as both formulas and frameworks. So the first example is going to be on Jeddah.ai, which lists the forces as a framework. The second example is going to be Swipefile, which lists the forces as a formula now. So like I said, it could be either a formula or framework, depending on context. Now for ADA, if we look at HubSpot, you are going to see ADA was referenced to be a framework. And we go to Copy Hackers, one of the best copy websites on the internet. It references the same ADA as a formula. So both ADA and forces have been referenced so far as frameworks and formulas. If we take a look at the Copy Brothers on this particular site, ADA and forces are both listed as frameworks. And if we look at Brendan's website, where there is explicit inference, ADA and the forces are frameworks, and he even says he's going to use all of them as frameworks. So I never said the forces are a structuring framework or even attempted to describe them. The next one says, bias against Kevin, his website, which made you disregard and misunderstand some elements and sections, especially on the homepage entirely. Now, my critique of the homepage focused on the copy above the fold, the excessive CTAs, which go against best practices, and the redundant modal links. The modal issue have since been addressed. Now, additionally, I offered positive feedback on the join agency owner section. If my feedback was perceived as biased or sentimental, I welcome specific examples of where I may have understood the homepage elements or sections. So next, it says, number 6, it says, you chose to single out UX, accessibility, and code quality, and on those aspects, it's head and shoulders above most websites out there, even those created by professional agencies. Okay, interesting. So my evaluation focused on UX, accessibility, and code quality using established standards rather than comparisons to other websites. There's no need to compare his websites with those in the wild using empirically unmeasurable claims like heads and shoulders above most sites out there. This highlights the need for expert evaluation, which I'm providing, as Kevin seems to lack the necessary expertise to assess his site against professional standards and not just made-up standards. So next, while in the video you invite comments and critiques, you've apparently chosen a very different stance in the comments, stating we are not here to debate. Yes, I'm not here to debate facts, established facts. So while I welcome all comments, critiques, and perspectives, my focus will be on relevant discussions and not debates on established facts, which have been established in the video. So we can discuss all we want, but if you are going to come and debate facts, then I'm not there for that. Next one says, I took the time to do an audit of your website and found a few things you might want to work on. Hope that's okay. So now this is Blue advising me to take an approach or to ask permission from Kevin. Now, this approach is good for people that take Kevin as a mentor or learn from him. I'm not one of them. They might need to ask for permission to do what I did. But as demonstrated in the next video clip you guys are going to see, Kevin highlights a concept I fully endorse, that professionals have the right and responsibility to improve others' work through criticism. This same principle underpins my critique of Gary.co.
So you have a guy telling people that Beaver Builder's a professional tool and that he's had no problems with it and it's a rock and yada yada. And then he explicitly told me that excessive DOM elements is not a problem, even though all his websites are failing Core Web Vitals and are being flagged for an excessive DOM size. Okay, so this is just people that don't know what they're talking about, telling other people what they should and shouldn't be doing. And I have a problem with that. Shouldn't I don't you agree that I should have a problem with that? That any professional should have a problem with that? And so you'll get people saying things like, it doesn't matter what builder you use, just use the builder you're most comfortable with. That is objectively false. It's objectively false. And he's telling me that Beaver Builder is just fantastic. And I said, tongue in cheek, poking, as I do. Okay, anybody that knows me on Facebook knows, like, hey, when I see a post like this, I'm gonna speak up, right? I'm gonna poke. I'm gonna poke a little bit, and I'm gonna get a discussion going, right? Because I think these things are important, but it also is entertaining, and it also does help other people. They come and they read the arguments against. Like, I don't want just people running their mouth, basically, who don't know what they're talking about, because other people get the wrong impression, and other people get led astray.
So I think I'm done with this. Let's look at a few errors that were fixed. So the first one is the footer links focus. Okay, I think that's here. So let's go from disclaimer. Let's go back a bit. Let's go to terms of use. Let's go to disclaimer. And if we go forward, we're supposed to be on home and we cannot see any focus ring. So this was the original issue I brought up. This was on the, this is from the 9th of December 2023. This is what it was like on the 19th. So if we come to terms of use, we come to disclaimer, we're going to see what's going to happen here. We now have focus. Well, I think, managing too many focus colors, you have black, you have white, you have blue. Probably they decided, they'll change it again. And this is what the website looks like now, as at the first week of January. Now, I don't think there was any need to throw out the baby with the bathwater. They should have just fixed the ring. And I noticed here we have YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And here there's no LinkedIn. But anyway, that's that. The next one is the heading hierarchy on the legal page. So this is the legal page. Let's look at the heading hierarchy. So we had legal and menu 1 and 3. There was no H2. And this is what it looks like now. So, that's good. That has been fixed. Now I noticed the concept of heading hierarchy might not be fully clear to Kevin. Heading structure issues often arise when not planned during the initial content creation phase, as it becomes challenging to restructure the content effectively afterwards. This is a significant usability problem that many people seem to overlook. Assistive technologies provide navigation shortcuts based on headings, which is essential for users relying on these tools. According to the 2024 WebAIM survey, a significant portion of users depend on this functionality. Proper heading also plays a critical role in SEO. Search engines like Google use headings to interpret page structure, aiding indexing and ranking. Then, okay, 143 unfixed. So that has to do with contrast. It's still 2.0.3. Now, I'm puzzled as to why this error persists. I literally fixed this issue in my previous video. Since he listed it on the best practices page, it's more likely he views it as a best practice rather than a mandatory WCAG success criteria, leading him to believe it's optional. If he continues to believe that color contrast is merely a best practice and not a mandatory WCAG success criteria, he may not be motivated to learn how to achieve sufficient contrast. This could lead to ongoing accessibility issues across all the websites he builds. So, what's next? Then, okay, we have the best practices page. That's this one. Whoops. So the entire page was deleted in response to some criticism despite containing valuable information. Simply removing the inaccuracies would have been sufficient. There was no need to just delete this whole web page. After all, I think they said it was under construction, so why delete a page that was under construction? And it actually took a lot of time to build, a lot of effort was put into building that web page. So let's move to the homework section. And for this one, let me move to my next desktop. Let's switch to the next desktop. Yep, we're in our next desktop. So now, I don't like repeating myself. But for those that did not watch the previous video, I'll simulate how I found the lorem ipsum issue.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
So a search on Google for site :gary.co. Where are you? And then lorem ipsum in quotes. Now there are different ways to find text on a website, but let's stick to this one. So I clicked on a result that led to a web page on the website. Now, since this website is not under construction like the best practices webpage, you will not see lorem ipsum here. This is just an example of how I simulated it. Can you imagine how embarrassing it would be if this page had lorem ipsum? I mean, what would be the excuse since it's not going to be under construction? Kevin won't be able to use that excuse, would he? Nope, he wouldn't be. So I think we can start our audit proper. We'll go back to the home page. So this is what we're going to do for today. Bloody hell. Okay, I need to reply this. So let me just pause and I'll come back. I'm back. I'll split the home page into best practices and accessibility fails. Let's start with the best practices. So first I want to look at underlined text. Underlining text might seem like a simple way to add emphasis, but on the web, it has a very specific meaning. It signals a link. When we underline text that isn't a link, we create a false affordance, leading to a frustrating user experience. People expect to click underlined links, underlined text. So let's reserve underlines for their intended purposes. Now, there's one important exception, that is the U tag. This HTML element is semantically correct for marking things like misspelled words or annotations that specifically require underlining text, underlining but aren't links. I'll give a few examples. So, number 1, you can indicate misspellings. 2, you can use it for annotations or editorial marks in text. 3, it could be for underlining in specific linguistic context. 4, marking text for later review or action. I recommend you stay away from underlined text. For all other styling needs where visual emphasis is needed, CSS offers much more flexible options like bolding, italics, or change of color. These methods allow you to make text stand out without confusing users using underline. Then next, I want to talk about inconsistent section design. That's page sections, or should I say content sections. There's a key difference between a content section and the section element. While it's a common misconception that every content section needs a section tag. This is not the case. The section element doesn't define perceived content sections. HTML headings already serve that purpose. Here are some best practices for structuring content regardless of whether you use a div or a section element. The first one is visual consistency. So let's look at this section, for example. Top-level sections, typically using H2 tags, should have consistent visual styling to improve scannability. For example, headings and eyebrow copies should be consistently positioned and aligned. If we look at this particular section, we have our eyebrow copy here on the left. We have the section heading, if I can call it that, on the right here. If we move to the next section, we have our eyebrow copy on the left, our section heading on the left. If we move to the next section, we have our eyebrow copy and section headings both in the center, which doesn't make it convenient for scanning. These are top level sections. Then another best practice is to have the headings as the first elements. For optimal accessibility and well-structured document, it's best practice to place a heading element as the first child of a section element. Many assistive technologies allow users to navigate web pages by jumping between headings. If content precedes heading within a section, these users might miss the content. Let's look at. So if we look at this section here, we have a div that holds the paragraph tag, and we now have our heading below. So we have content preceding the heading. If I was to navigate by heading, I will not be able to reach this paragraph. I will not perceive the contents. And the same thing is for the next one here. Here we have our text preceding our heading. So the heading should always come before every content. If you want to put the content like the eyebrow copy before the heading, you do that using CSS order by. Let me see, is there anything else again? Then I think maybe probably the last best practice would be that you have a contextual relationship between the main heading of the page, the H1, and all other subheadings. So the H2 headings, the subheadings should clearly relate to the H1, the main heading of the page, creating a logical flow to the for the user. The H1 should summarize the overall topic, and the H2 should act as clear subtopics. So this H1 here should be a summary of all these H2s. Where do I have my, yes. So these should be, all these should be contained in the H1. And another issue, okay, we could talk about it here. Another issue is having H2s that are supposed to be top level. Like we've seen here, these are top level H2s. You now end up having sections that have H2s that are not top level, or even having sections inside a landmark, which is not the proper use of section. I think if we come here, let me close this. Where are you? Okay, this is the footer. So in our footer now, we have a section. This section is unnecessary. Sorry. Right, so I was saying, we have a section in our footer, and it's unnecessary. We are now having these H2s, which from our content, H2s are top level sections. We are now having a footer here that has H2s that are not top level sections. They are not, yes, that do not represent top level sections. You already have a footer. This section plays no role. So this should be a div. This should be a div. There's no need to put a section inside a footer. The footer is already a semantic element. I think I'm done here. We can move to the accessibility issues. You know what? Let's talk about copy. Let's do some copy. I didn't plan for copy, so I'm coming. Let me see. Okay. I've put together examples of how to improve each section's heading and eyebrow copy, and an example of what the homepage can be like. Let's look at the first section. So what we have is, it says the eyebrow copy is free course page building 101, which is very good. The heading says the undisputed #1 course in pro web design and page building. This doesn't tell us much, so I put two examples. The first one, I did not change the eyebrow copy, is the same, free course page building 101. Then for the heading, the first one says master web design and development with Bricks Builder. The reason why I chose Bricks Builder is a lot of people ask about a very good beginner course for Bricks. And if those are the people you are targeting, then this would be a very good heading because it's going to be very clear. This is a free course for WordPress web development with Bricks Builder, or even just web development. So as I put here, it says the eyebrow introduces the course as a foundational resource, while the main heading emphasizes Bricks Builder and broader web design skills. So this one targets people that want to learn how to use Bricks Builder. The next one is very clear. It just says free Bricks Builder course. also targeting people that are interested in Bricks Builder. It now says Master Web Design and Development in WordPress. So we know it's Bricks Builder for WordPress. For this one too, the eyebrow highlights the course's specific focus on Bricks Builder, while the heading emphasizes its general web design and development value. So this is a Bricks first approach, as opposed to just saying a free course and is undisputed. People don't care about what you think about your course or yourself. Just give them the information they want. So this particular one says the course is free, which is true, but we don't have any context. Is it WordPress? Is it Bricks? So that's that. So for the next section, it just says the eyebrow copy says what I'm up to. Then it says projects and products. So for this one, the eyebrow copy, I didn't change much. The first one says our projects. Next one says our innovations, and our innovations again. So instead of just saying projects and products, we have tools, templates, and a thriving community. So the tools is targeting things like automatic CSS, templates, maybe pre-built bricks components, which is going to be frames. You could put frames there. Then the thriving community is the inner circle, because this section touches on all those stuffs. The next one is something similar to tools, frameworks, and components for web design. So this component is highlighting frames. If we're trying to push frames, if we're trying to push maybe the frameworks, this would be automatic CSS here. Then it's the same thing here, tools, frameworks, and components for Bricks Builder. Here now I'm making it exclusive that, look, we're talking about Bricks Builder now, not just general WordPress or web design. So as you can see, it says highlights your agency, automatic CSS, and pre-built components without mentioning the inner circle. So this one doesn't focus on inner circle. This one focuses on inner circle. Excuse me. Then the last one briefly introduces the inner circle as part of the ecosystem. So it says tools, frameworks, and community for Bricks Builder. So depending on which of them are important, but just saying this, it's not clear which one you're talking about. Because if we go here, this is what we're talking about here. All these subheadings, these ones. So we want to take each of these subheadings. Then, like we said, there should be summaries. So these H3s should be summarized by this H2. We didn't change much here. This one just says the blog for the eyebrow copy and latest articles and insights. So I just put expert advice. Then it says grow your digital agency, articles and insights. So the eyebrow signals the type of content, which is advice, while the main heading conveys the benefits. You know, you are going to grow your digital agency from getting all this. Then the last one says inner circle as the eyebrow copy. Join over 1,500 plus agency owners and freelancers in my inner circle. So instead of just saying inner circle, we said premium community, because the inner circle is a premium community. So just say what it is, premium community. Then here now we can now say inner circle, connect with 1,500 plus agency owners and freelancers. So the eyebrow sets the tone for exclusivity, bloody hell. And the main heading emphasizes the community. So we can now have maybe our subheadline. So ready to elevate your skills and streamline your success? Join us now. You can now have access exclusive design and development trainings, master business sales and marketing strategies, leverage premium agency resources and downloadable tools, connect with a vibrant expert community, committed to growth. Then we can have our CTAs, could be any of these. Join the inner circle now, unlock exclusive access. So this is what we're talking about here now. Instead of just having this is what it's like. Then the hero section. I always like to make my hero section last. After you've done all your sections, you now summarize those sections with your hero section. So this one says, always be creating. I'm a husband. I value community transparency. This transparency will come to it in the future. Then it says, I'll be honored if you join my list, subscribe to my channel, toss up a like on the video. What video? Okay, the YouTube video. It says, join my list, hire me. So what we have here is, I just said, achieve web design mastery in 6 weeks with support every step of the way. So take my free course for an introduction to WordPress page building, or join the Inner Circle for advanced training, mentorship, and a thriving community to help you grow your skills and your agency in just 6 weeks. Start your free course now. That's the YouTube course, free, or join the Inner Circle today. I mean, even Stevie Wonder can say this one is better, right? Or master WordPress design with tools, community, and expert advice. So this one doesn't put a time frame. Elevate your skills, simplify your builds, and connect with like-minded creators in the WordPress world. Whether you are just starting with my free course or diving deeper with my paid community, you'll learn the skills, tools, and techniques to design beautiful websites and scale your web design business in no time. Start your free course now. Join the Inner Circle today. So any of these two, any of this is going to be better than always be creating. Now, if I was going to rebuild this homepage, I'm not going to write all this stuff here. I'm going to, especially this section where you have projects and products. Listing what you've done is not necessarily putting the user as the hero. You are supposed to be a guide. So all these things, instead of listing how good you are supposed to leverage them. You understand? So you are supposed to transform all these achievements from the products and projects section here into compelling benefits and proof of authority, effectively communicating the value you are going to offer. You now use them and create like a benefit section. So let's see my example. My homepage example. So my H1 says, master WordPress in 6 weeks, no experience needed. And if I wanted to talk about bricks, I could say bricks or page building or whatever it is. So you decide what is it you are going after. But for me, it would be bricks builder. So master page building in WordPress. Master page building in WordPress in 6 weeks or something like that. Anyway, so it says, take my free course for an introduction to WordPress page building, or join the Inner Circle for advanced training, mentorship, and a thriving community to help you grow your skills and your agency in 6 weeks. Okay, I think this is similar to what I have at the top. So start your free course now, join the Inner Circle. So like I said, I always like starting with my hero section last, but I just put this because I wanted to show when I talked about visual consistency for the headings. As you can see, my H1 is on the left, my H2 is in the center, so I'm using it as crosshead. My next H2 is in center, crosshead. So if people were scanning, it would be very easy for them to know that, okay, these are crossheads and these are the main section headings. Even if I had other headings, they would be maybe on the left or on the right. So my section headings are all going to be in the center. So let's look at the products and projects section reimagined. So this is what was the projects and products. So instead of that, I just made it a benefit section. I said, here's where I offer the best solutions. So we have proven expertise. Benefit from expertise that has helped over 1,700 web designers and agency owners grow their skills and businesses. So here, I'm making reference to the Inner Circle without actually saying it here. Next now says maybe tailored tools and frameworks. You'll gain access to custom solutions designed to streamline web design for WordPress users that help me create automatic CSS and frames. So what I'm saying here is, automatic CSS and frames are very good products. And I was able to create them based on concepts and solutions and tools and resources that you are going to have access to. And you will end up, being able to create maybe something like this, if not this. So we brought in automatic CSS and frames without saying it is what we've done and putting ourselves as the hero. So here I'm just leveraging on these tools we've created. Ongoing support and mentorship. Receive support from a professional community and direct mentorship, whether in the free course or the Inner Circle. So here we're saying, look, if you are going to come to the free course, we are going to support you. And if you are going to come to the Inner Circle, we are going to support you also. So this one is making reference to the Inner Circle. This is making reference to the free course. So now we're not just listing our achievements, we're leveraging the achievements. Trusted educator. You learn from a trusted educator who hosts WP Town Hall. So this is host of WP Town Hall. We are going to leverage this. So, where you learn from a trusted educator who hosts WP Town Hall and created the highly rated Page Building 101 course, gaining real world knowledge and actionable insights. So we've put in the page building course there too, right? And it's highly rated. So no need to say number one, best, or whatever. We've put it here. Access to high quality training. Learn at your own pace with expert-led lessons in WordPress web design and page building. So it's paced. Business growth strategies. The Inner Circle provides not only design resources, but also strategies for scaling your web design agency or freelance business. And bloody hell, I'm even starting to believe this Inner Circle is very good. Copy really does a lot of wonders. So anyway, Inner Circle is beginner friendly, so don't mind me. Not elite or expert, but beginner friendly. I digress. So my next heading will just be maybe the testimonials, but there's no need just in testimonials. It's vague. Success stories from my students and Inner Circle members. So you can have maybe like 3 of your best or favorites. Then next, now for people that are not really interested, you want to reel them in. Still on the fence, let's address your concerns. Feeling overwhelmed by web design, struggling with slow progress, tired of feeling stuck in your business, worried you are not ready, still not sure. Let's put it in perspective. So you can pause and read what I have written here. No more guesswork. Stop wondering what works. My proven methods will help you design and build with confidence. Real support. From beginner to expert, you will get the help you need, whether you need it, whenever you need it. Transform your skills and your business. Transform. Very powerful. Is it verb they call it? Whether it's the free course or the Inner Circle, both will push you toward the growth you deserve. Then the last H2 section, this is going to be the CTA, and announces you are ready for this. You are letting them know, look, don't be afraid, you are ready. Take the next step and transform your web design skills. Now here, you could have a section that has, a section that has 2 columns, one on the left, one on the right. The subheading for the left could be the free course. The subheading for the right could be the join the Inner Circle. So you give them both options. But here I'm just focusing on the Inner Circle. Or just assuming it's the Inner Circle we want to push them to. So it says, take the next step and transform your web design skills. Jump into the Inner Circle. You'll find the tools, training, and community that will finally help you achieve your goals. Access exclusive designs and development training, master business, leverage premium agency, blah, blah, blah. Join the Inner Circle. And I'm done. So if this is me, this is what I would have done. So I think now I can go back and finish the accessibility issues on the homepage. Maybe I'll just look at 1 or 2, make it very fast. So we can look at all these pages, the navigation links and the footer links. What I'll just do is for these particular links, we'll just look at errors we've seen before, focus, heading hierarchy, and contrast, because it's already getting late. So let's move. So for this homepage accessibility, I'll just focus on contrast since we're short on time. If we look at the background for this page, it's 1A, 1A, 1A. And if we look at the text, it's 757575. So most of this text, 7575. So most of this text, 7575 on this website is going to fail contrast 7575. You have it everywhere on the website. So the text itself. So fixing this is not a problem. I already have it open here. If we want to pass all WCAG AA and AAA, all Kevin has to do is come close to the screen and whisper my initials.
Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, goddammit.
Nothing AD cannot fix. Whisper it 3 times. AD, 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 enter. Magic. Right? Anyway, let's just keep this moving. Let's go through all the pages. I need to be very fast. Projects. So I've opened them. Let's take it one by one. Let's start with the first page, the About page. If we look at this one, so it fails heading hierarchy. And like I said, all this text is going to fail. Contrast, all the text. No need to open them. We've already seen them on the homepage. The next one is project. What do we have here? Fails, heading hierarchy. And this is the same page on the homepage. A lot of people ask me what you do. I don't know. Where is it? I mean, how bad can you be at copy? You don't even know what to put. You are repeating text. Let's go to the next page. I think it's videos. Now the first thing you're going to see is click here for ACSS and frames videos. Very poor text, anchor text. Then if we come down here, the search videos here, it doesn't have focus visibility. I'm focused on search videos. The focus ring is gone. It's back. If I'm out of it, it's gone. So this fails 247. If we now go to all content and all these two, let's see. Nope. This one fails 247 too. This one also. What else do we have on this page? The load more button. This one. Come on. So here. This one too fails. Who's next? Let's just keep it fast. Consulting. Okay, we already saw this earlier on. This is where he fixed this particular one. But all these texts, even just looking at this text, you know this is going to fail contrast. They all fail contrast. Then heading hierarchy. There's no H1 on this page. I told you guys Kevin doesn't have a good understanding of heading hierarchy and how it works. So the next one is the blog page. Okay, for this one even, I won't say it fails, but it goes against the first rule of ARIA. You have a link and is used as a button. So they gave it a role of button, tab index of 0. Whenever you repurpose a link as a button, there are a lot of things you need to do apart from just giving it tab index and even targeting keyboard link, keyboard enter and space key. You have the key down and key up. One works on key down, the other on key up. So you need to look into things like that too. What else? Do you have anything on this page? I think that's all. Okay, then this load more button, just like the previous one we saw. This load more button is going to, where are you? So I can't see nothing. Next, let's move to the next one. So, okay, hallelujah. This one passes, but all this text is going to fail. And also, this affiliate link text is going to fail. Here we have the inner circle. So this one also fails heading hierarchy, I'm sure. No H2. And if we look at the FAQ link, this one, or is it a button that opens the FAQ? It fails contrast 2.03. I don't know why I call it 2.0.3. Why do I have 2 points? Why do I call them that way? Next is the login page. It doesn't have a H1, so it fails heading hierarchy.
Again!
And the, sorry, let's close this. The focus around the login button, very poor contrast, so it fails 247. And also 1411 non-text contrasts. Next is the insights page. This one also fails heading hierarchy. No H2. We've seen this a lot. Then this CSS text 3.35, it fails contrast. This is a new one, 3.35. We're used to seeing 2.0, whatever it is we usually see. Next link is the website. I think we're at the footer now because this insights in the footer. Next is the critique. This one also is going to fail contrast. This text here, 3.94. This is even different. You have 80, 80, 80 for the color. So the form label and all this other text, we've already said all the text on the page for the most part are going to fail. Then lastly, the privacy page. In the last audit, the links that he did not fix, this is what happens all around the website. Now you're going to have them failing. So you have this 1.53. I didn't even check heading on the last one. H1, it fails heading here. What about this website critique? This one passes. So I think I'll stop this particular audit here, our anniversary edition, and I should probably do a part 3. There are a few things I want to talk about on this website. So yeah, I think I'll take a few days and I'll put part 3. For my 2 cents, I think whenever you see people trying to blame other tools and services, when you look deeper, you find they are trying to hide their incompetencies or their lack of skill. Or when you hear people come up with their own definitions of standards, it's just because they cannot work to known standards.
So my channel is for professionals. That is true professionals who are actively selling their craft, or philosophical professionals. These are amateurs that are deeply interested in the art side of this, the technical side of this. If you're an amateur that seeks to move to being a professional, whether that's a true professional or a philosophical professional, my channel is for you.
So I think I'll just pause this video here and I'll see you in the next one. You know what to do.